We would just get high. We would talk about being gay and Lee. That was it. That was it.
I don't know if I told this story just because it's fucking lore now, but you had called me and you had said, "Hey, Lee's coming right now. Tell him he doesn't look good." And I was like, "All right, why? What's going on?" He goes, "No, just fucking tell him he doesn't look good. He's fine." And I go, "Okay." You go, "All right, love you, bye." And Lee comes around the corner and I look at him and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" And I go, "Hey, you feeling all right, man?" And he goes, "Why?" And I go, "You look kind of pale." And dude, he goes, "Fucking goddamn it, did Joey talk to you?" And I go, "No, why? What's up? What's wrong?" And he goes, "Oh, all right, so I went to a rub and tug, and I think the lady gave me something." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Yeah, I went to a massage place and they offered to finish me off." And I was like, "Okay, yeah." So then I fucking go talk to Joey, and then Joey starts talking. He's like, "Oh, you can't go to that place. You didn't hear they had an outbreak of an STD. You got to go get yourself checked. You don't look good." And I had to bite my fucking lip because then I understood why you were like, when you see Lee, tell him he don't look good. And I'm not kidding you. Lee didn't even do the mic. He goes, "I gotta go." He fucking got back in his car and peeled out.
I made a big mistake. I made a big fucking mistake. And we all make huge mistakes. You know, Josh Wolf put up some videos of me with his son from 20 years ago. And I go, "Josh, you know, we weren't thinking clearly. That should have been a web series." You know?
Oh,
I love doing the podcast with Lee. I enjoyed that office. I enjoyed everything about it. But my biggest mistake was that office was not taping people from the minute they walked in, which I don't like doing because it's creepy. I have to tell you. And once I tell Mike or I tell you that the camera's on, you're going to act differently. And that's what we didn't want. But I got to be honest with you. Some of those nights, before and after, I wish people could see those. Oh, they were shit. Fucking, you know, you got to remember, we would end the podcast at 10, but we wouldn't leave there till 1 in the morning. 1, 2 in the fucking morning. You know, we did a podcast at 1 in the afternoon. We didn't get home till 6. It was like a 2-hour podcast, a 1-hour pre-party, and a 2-hour after party. We get food and fucking, you know, and people could never understand. But for me, I think one of the best experiences I had on that podcast was one night. He goes to Vegas. This was the story. He goes to Vegas with my other buddy. And my other buddy loves to torture people. Lee should have not gone to Vegas with that motherfucker. He gave Lee a Vicodin or something, a happy pill. Lee had a couple drinks, and then he lost all whatever. You know, it happens to all of us. I used to have a cocktail and want to break into a house. I would lose control, you know, so they went to this fucking strip club, not a strip club, a tug and jug or whatever, and there was one Chinese chick left, and I guess she rubbed them both. Like she was going from one room to the other. So when he called me to do it, he goes, "Don't say nothing." I took Lee to get a hand job. He fucking loved it. He paid $140 or whatever. I actually didn't say nothing to Lee for about 6 weeks. I didn't bring anything up. I was going to set him up. It was one of the greatest setups I've ever done in my life. I really wanted to attack him like a week later, but I had to bite my tongue. I'm like, let it fucking romulate, whatever that word is. So one night, I just walked in, I go, "Lee, have you spoken to him?" And he goes, "No, not at all." And I go, "That's funny." And then after was when I go, "Lee, you haven't spoken to him?" And he goes, "No, not really." I go, "Listen, I didn't want to fucking hurt your feelings. Did you go to some massage parlor with him?" And his eyes got big and he turned pale. He didn't think I knew. I go, "Did you go to a massage parlor?" He goes, "Yeah, it was fun." I go, "Fun?" I go, "Larry's in the hospital. His dick blew up." Now, I kept a straight face. It was 1 in the morning. We're fucking higher than fuck. And he just looked at me and froze. He's like, "What are you talking about?" I go, "Dog, his dick blew up. And he's not in good shape. He's in the hospital in critical condition." I go, "The chick had something on her fucking hand. And when she rubbed his dick," I go, "Did you get a hand job from the same girl?" And he's like, and he was just stale. By this time, all the color in his face had gone. His little lip was trembling. And he goes, "Yeah, I think I did." I go, "Well, then you better get checked out." And he's like, He started making Jew noises, those little noises he used to make. What am I going to tell Paula? You're not going to tell Paula nothing. But the bet, like I'm playing him, and he's digging himself deeper. He doesn't stop and go, you motherfucker. He's digging himself deeper on his own. Like he's like, And finally, just to take the tension out of the room, I go, Lee, why don't you go in the other room? Bring a light with you. Bring the magnifying glass. Look at your dick. We had a magnifying glass and thing. I go, look at your dick and see what's going on. See if there's a couple spots, then we'll go to a doctor tomorrow. He takes about 10 minutes. He comes back and he's like, I have a spot on my dick. And I'm like, oh, no. Well, I'm just feeding him. He's online looking for doctors. It's 1:30 in the morning. Should I go to the hospital? No, they don't have stuff to cure that type of syphilis. I just kept giving it names. And he's starting to fucking, he was fucking upset. And I go, Lee, I'm only fucking with you. And he's like, huh. And then he gave out one more Jew noise. Yeah. And I'm like, Lee, nothing happened. That next morning I called him, even after I told him the truth. I go, where are you? He goes, can I call you back? I go, why? He goes, I'm at the doctor's office getting a test.
He was always at the doctor's office.
Always.
You know what's funny, though? And I'll give him credit to this. Every once in a great while, he would try to fuck with you, too. And it would crack me up. When we were going, I don't remember where the fuck we were going, but we were driving back and you got pulled over.
Oh, shit, up in Ventura or something like that.
And we're sitting there, and I'm in the back of the car, and you said, you go, all right, everybody, hands up. And you put your hands up on the dashboard, and you said, just make sure your hands are where they can see them. And you go, I'm not being no statistic. So we're in the car laughing, and you go, God damn it. You go, fucking, I should have been looking out. Fuck. And you were upset. And then Lee just looks at you and he goes, do you think you're going to get a ticket? And it was the equivalent in Animal House when he goes over to those guys and he just goes, you guys playing cards? Because Lee just looked, he goes, you think you're going to get a ticket? And you just did that. You go, how the fuck do I know if he's going to give me a ticket?
I hope he doesn't. And he didn't. He just told the slow fast. Yeah. I think I was doing like 90 or 80.
You were fucking hauling.
I was hauling ass, dog.
Because what you would do on the way up is we were driving and you were listening to disco and there were these cones and you would swerve and you would hit a cone.
Dog, people have no idea I love to hit cones, run over cones. And I do this shit when I'm by myself to entertain myself. I don't need nobody in the car with me to have a good time.